All right, we got the new plastic thingies and the new adjusters. Right? A hard deal? No. All I'm saying is this screw or this spring and the other one, they're in the same spot. Yeah, it's interesting. But how they also go into the light fixture goes through that bezel. But then on this bezel, I don't know if this is a different bezel or what. It's just different how it hooks up. I was unable to find any differences, so you know, may just be something. I mean, it's not in the factory manual that I could find, so just kind of had a little bit of info on adjusters. That's all good. As promised. Okay, here's the amp draw difference between the new lights and the old lights. We're just gonna check this out. This is our amp meter. It's just one of those ones that goes in a fuse line, so I'm just using it as a meter right now. Yeah, that'll be fine. So I don't know what I expect it to be. I didn't ohm it out or anything, so we're just gonna touch it on there. See what we get for the, let me see, what did I mark them as? Regular lights in the middle, that's brights. So we'll hook the positive one up here. And we'll hook the negative one over here. And we'll read our amp draw right there. 3.6 amps for regular. Now we're gonna check the brights. We'll put that one on there. Put this over here. 4.4 amps on brights. So 3.6 and 4.4 amps. This battery was about 12.4 volts. So we got a good amount of voltage to do the test with. Okay, now let's do the other one. So, set that aside. Honestly, never knew how much amperage it was. So on like Impala with 4 lights, I see, you know, why they would split it up the way they did. Yeah, set that on something there. Okay, so it doesn't rock around. So ground's over there. We're gonna set it on our regulars. Right there. And our ground over here. So, let's see. .4 amps for regulars. But oh, that's right. Okay, 1.4. I was trying to, yeah, that would have been reverse polarity. So let me hook this up to the brights. We've already got a deficit of like 2.2 amps or something like that. Nice. Okay, and then we'll try this guy on brights. 2.1 amps, so we're down over 2 amps on brights. And we can see what the running lights are going to be. Just one moment here. And those are going to be the red lights. Okay. Turn on the halo. We obviously don't want to melt the plastic on the front of the damn lights. That pulls less than 1/10 of an amp. Okay. Great. So we're really good here. Amperage wise, we're dropping in half. Everything fully running, what was it, 1.2 and 2.1 or something? So we're talking about 3.6 amps. If it runs both at the same time, I guess that will depend on the light switch and stuff like that, but that's, you know, under 5 amps a side for the entire fixture. Pretty nice. When before, if it runs both, it would run them at 6-7 amps a side, so you'd be running 14. This will be less than 10 for both sides. So anyway, that's you know, in this particular light, we know everything we need to know about it. So, you know, here it is. and we will continue. We'll continue on and see how stuff goes. Look at that, pretty shiny. Anyway, so this where the spring goes, I found it's nice to put a spacer on the back side to get that gap, because the way this thing sits, it doesn't sit in that socket as much. It actually sits against that lip there, and I didn't want to cut it all the way out, because then I feel like it's much more difficult to like turn. I don't know, but it seems to line up in the right spot. We're gonna find out when we put the front on. But I put a spacer in between the back side of this, and it helps raise it out to the level to put the light in, to get the ring on. So I ended up finding a Sharpie, roughly the right, permanent marker that I had. About the right size to get it started with, just kind of make it even all the way around. We'll see how it goes. Okay, got the other side of the throttle cable. Got to get this side here. I think we're going to utilize this factory lift point here. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of set it up. Looks like that's the position. And then we'll just measure over and build a bracket off of this. And we'll see where we go from there. Hopefully they don't want to use it as a lift point again. Or do I take that off and build a new bracket? I don't think I do that. I don't think I do that. Okay. Well, we're gonna hook it up, and we'll see what happens. We can get that to go, and then we'll trim up this, giving it all the length it can for vibration, and make sure it doesn't get tugged, because it's tight, and we'll be good. Okay, about to solder a fitting in here for this for the starter, and we got our guy there, and then we got this solder slug. It's got a little flux in the middle, I think. And we'll just drop it in there, and maybe this will work. I'm not sure. Well, that one's soldered in. I was using the wrong size. Yeah, that'll be fine. That ain't never coming out. Okay, so the horn, it had a regular, I don't know, it just had a little terminal on it, kind of like this, and no plastic cover. So anyway, I went to the junkyard this morning and picked up, I just went through cars and found a couple of these. These are on usually older rigs, maybe late 80s, all the way back to the 60s. Just covers the terminal. I just don't see them at the hardware store anymore, or the parts store. So now this was just a bare wire. And then I don't know how I can hold this, put it up. So anyway, put the tab the right way, snap it in there. Now our wire has a nice cover over the, because these end up going hot when you press the horn, so the horn is grounded. And we just put it on the horn, and it'll be good. It'll be a lot better. And a new fitting kind of clicks off. Now we got a covered horn terminal. It's on there really solid, and that helps hold the contact and everything. So that's just one part. And then went after some extra rubber to help hold this radiator down, because they don't line up at the bottom very well. So I'm going to try to do a little bit before I fasten this radiator in. I want to make sure it's sitting on rubber and secured before I go any further. And then we'll hopefully be able to tie this radiator in and start getting the transmission lines on and getting that going. I got most of the wires made up yesterday. I'm missing a little bit of my heat stuff that I put down to the starter wire because we got headers here. I also have a heat shield for a stock starter somewhere. I gotta find it. That's a good idea, especially with headers. Headers, they cook things. So yeah, usually a good idea, even if it's below it. I mean, especially if it's right next to it on the side. Like I had a Chevelle that had that, and it would just cook starters. Usually you want to go with the mini starter, you know, give you more ground clearance, and then you'd kind of cover the solenoid up. But you know, I'm sure I didn't have enough grounds either, so that's just something that's come with time that I've learned. Like, you got to ground a motor well, and it will it'll pay back.